Okay, guys, so we are here with Cam, the best duelist in South Africa, pretty much.
Okay,
Who's
best duelist.
in Africa? Sorry, my
In
mistake.
Bloemfontein. In Bloemfontein.
So Cam obviously took part in the remote to YCS and placed 40th out of what was it, 720?
16?
716 players,
Yeah.
which is absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy,
Even
yeah.
either.
It was, like the entire day we were so hyped as you were sending through your scores. You did really well. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
Cool,
It was
cool.
like, it was probably the best, not event in terms of how I played, but like the best, most fun I've had in an event. And
Cool.
that's speaking much because it was a remote duel.
Mm.
It wasn't even in person, so it was like insane experience. 12 hours of Yu-Gi-Oh in one day,
Crazy.
just no breaks, like 10 minutes to get your lunch if you need to. So yeah, it was something else. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I'm gonna do it again. And I actually
Nice.
recommend for like people to do it again or
Yeah.
play the next YCS if you can.
Yeah, I guess the most exciting thing is that like it's so difficult for us to get to Europe for these events, even if the guys qualify through like nationals and stuff. But at least now
Yeah.
with the remote duels, like we can actually compete. You know,
Yeah,
on
and
that
it's
level,
it was 300 rounds, so it's the same entrance for regionals,
yeah,
which is
yeah, it's
yeah, insane.
pretty reasonable. Yeah,
You just need a camera and do good.
cool.
And good Wi-Fi and no load shedding, obviously.
Yeah, for that one, we had to be just crossing it. Like,
Yeah.
You never know it's gonna hit.
Yeah.
No, but cool. So like, what was your how was your experience? Like, I know it was a long day. I believe there was like 3 different servers that you guys were running.
Yeah, so basically, it was hosted by Rating Trade. They had a server on Discord,
Okay.
and then there's 3 servers for about 200 people each on each server.
Cool.
That you join on, and it's crazy because you like in the beginning, like before the round start, you're just sitting with your friends in your own server waiting,
Yeah.
and then at one point everyone goes into the waiting room, and you just see all these bubbles of like 700 bubbles of people there waiting, and then you realize like, yeah, this
Okay.
is it. That's crazy.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how many like rounds it was? Obviously, you made day
Oh, it
2.
was yeah, I made day 2.
Yeah.
It was 10 rounds Swiss. Day 1 was 8 rounds of Swiss, and then you needed 16 points. And if you got 16 points, you can make it to day 2, which is 2 more rounds of Swiss.
Cool. Cool.
And then after that, top cuts, obviously, if you made it.
Top 32.
Top
Perfect.
32, yeah.
Yeah, and that was for like 24 points to make.
Yeah,
top 32.
24 points. Yeah, so you basically X2 got to top 32.
Cool. And you were so close, man. It was 22 points.
Yeah, so my record was 7-1-2.
Cool.
Day 1 obviously was 5-1-2.
Mm.
And then I got 16 points on that, and then day 2 I won both my games.
Nice.
So I did what I could on day 2, but day 1 I just needed one more win.
Fair.
Yeah, to push me over. But yeah, so 22 points. Just it
No,
was
but
close, but it was to go.
Yeah, that was still fantastic, man. It's a really good result overall.
Yeah, I was surprised myself. Matchups were kind of favorable, to be honest. Like,
Okay.
so you guys are gonna see the title of the video. I was playing Swordsoul Teddy. So arguably one of the best X's formats.
Yeah.
But I'll probably be the best deck. So like against most of the matchups, I was quite favored to win. It was just a few games where I bricked or played Rogue that I hadn't played before, and then I struggled a bit. But otherwise, yeah, it was a pretty good tournament, I'd say, for myself.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, like, getting into your matchups, well, like, what were your matchups? Let's get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I played round 1. I have a list here. I'm
Okay.
looking down really.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it
round
up
1 I
as well.
played Flanderies.
Cool.
I can't remember the exact results, but I know some of them. For Flanderies, I won 2-0.
Okay.
Imperium just too strong. Like, that deck isn't good. No offense to people playing Flanders, but that deck isn't good right now. Maybe when they get the rotor, it'll be better, but
Sure.
Imperium just ends their turn most of the time.
Yeah.
round 2 I played Striker. I drew against them.
Okay.
It was unfortunate. So obviously I was playing in the European YCS. So there's French, Italians, Germans, all different languages. So not all of them speak English well. So like translating the cards was a bit of an issue.
Okay.
And then like communicating. So we actually went to time on that game.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was round 2. Round 3 I played the mirror match and I lost. I did not see Mo Yi at all. My opponent was like, "Are you playing Mo Yi?" I was like, "I don't think so." I think I just left them in my file or something because I didn't see Mo Yi at all in round 3.
That's crazy.
Round 4, Trap Tricks DPE.
Okay.
So everyone's throwing DPE into everything now. So,
Yes.
but I won 2. It was quite simple.
Okay.
I just stopped the normal summon and then it was DPE basically and some traps.
Fair.
Then round 5 was Infernoids, which was actually the loss. I hadn't played against Infernoids before, and I only started playing 2 years ago. And it was weird. I could have won that game if I played better and know the cards better, but because of time and my phone battery was on 6%, I literally didn't search the cards. I asked them to read the effects, and then I played like poorly based on that. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
So
I mean,
if
you're not familiar with the deck, it is a bit tricky, yeah. Especially with the cost
like I know
stuff.
that was kind of like the alter guys, right? Back in the day, you used to randomly pop up and get a top cut here and there.
Yeah.
So it was a bit annoying, but yeah, that was a loss 2-1, and then round 6 I played Sky Striker again, 2-1 there.
Nice.
And anti-spell. I didn't have Imperial Order like the guy who won. I had anti-spell, which was enough.
Cool. What's your opinion on like Striker at the moment? Because obviously it has a decent I wouldn't say an advantage, but they have 3. What is it called? they're imperm. Sorry.
Oh, Widowmaker.
Yeah, they're pretty Widowmaker in the main. So I mean, that does stuff.
So Striker is interesting. Like, obviously, DPE is the reason people are playing Striker again. I think the fact that half the deck's main Imperial Order and a lot of people are siding anti-spell, like that puts people off Striker. DPE can deal with that if he can get there. It's a rogue, a tier 2 deck, I'd say, with DPE now.
Okay.
Obviously he's on they're going second build most of the time. So it's tough to deal with, but like a Swordsoul board isn't easy to navigate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was able to deal with it throughout the day actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then round 7 was Albert Zombie. Which is interesting because Zombie World makes all my worms zombies.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much it affects my extra deck summoning.
Yeah.
So I was like summoning Dragite and what's the other level 8 that I could summon? Draco Berserker.
Yeah.
Was basically where I was going.
This makes it
it
a
was
bit more
interesting.
complicated, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But I won that too, luckily as well. And then round 8, the last round of day 1 was Infernobles.
Okay.
Which me and you played
Yeah.
for a long time, so I knew exactly what was happening in that deck. And I went first, won the die roll. He has no going second cards. That's a game 1. And then game 2 opened up Dark Ruler, and he only had 1 DDR. DDD, sorry, right? The one that brings back from banished.
Yes. Yeah. TDR.
TDR. So he only had 1, so he only looped me for 1 card.
Okay.
So, and it wasn't the Dark Ruler, so I just combo through.
Nice.
Then that was day 1. So that ended me on 5-1-2.
Cool.
5 wins, 2 losses. And then round 9, day 2 was Tri-Brigade DPE, which is something that popped up recently. Interesting deck, I'd say. Also, I won die roll, and it was pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's tough to deal with their board going second. Against them, they got Revolt. They have DPE. That's a bit scary, but it's pretty simple. And then round 10 was my first bird up of the day. It's crazy. Because Rav, another member of TFG, he played 6 bird ups in the tournament.
Yeah, it was hectic.
Yeah, so like my first bet up, which I was quite happy, and I actually won that game 2-1 as well. I actually won the die roll and I bricked game 1, and I lost instantly. And then game 2 I won because I went first. He activated Mystic Mine, and then a card in the deck now that we're playing, Heavenly Dragon Circle, is an out to Mystic Mine because you just sit on Grandmaster. Once you draw it, tribute for cost, add, and then you play. You do the end phase, obviously, and then play in the next turn in OTK. So that was insane. And then game 3.
And the representation for what you call the build up was pretty high. You guys were
107, somewhere around there. Like it was the most represented deck. And then Swordsoul was second.
Nice, cool.
Yeah. So it was quite a lot of better. I mean, it's arguably the best deck this format.
Yes.
The boards it makes are insanely hard to deal with.
Fair. Cool.
But yeah, so that was my matchups. Pretty successful overall. Just an Infernal game, obviously, that has me down, but otherwise, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
It
was a good run overall.
Yeah.
So let's probably get into your decklist itself.
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess we can probably skip over like maybe the souls. I think the ratios are pretty much standard.
So 3 Moyi, 3 Longyan, 2 Taya. That's simple. 3 Ecclesia. Basic, obviously.
Yeah.
Then my 10-year lineup is a bit different now. It's 3 Ashna, 3 Vishuddha, 2 Adhara, and then 1 Chitana, the water one.
Cool.
Basically for the Heavenly Dragon Circle.
Yeah.
Tribute the Moyi if they try to imperm or veiler it. Add the water, special summon the water. Then you have your level 18 synchro. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's pretty simple. It's interesting. Like I would, I like the vessel a lot because you play. You can do Charfen combo regularly, and you get a 10-year engrave and in hand.
Yes.
Regularly.
Yeah.
Heavenly Dragon Circle was a bit of a brick sometimes, but it's also another search for Protoss, which is which is a win.
Nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. So then that's the 10-year lineup, and then the Protoss, obviously. And then I only ran 2 Ash because I was a bit worried about this YCS. I hadn't played in such a big tournament before. The most we play in South Africa is 70 players, give or take. So I wanted to cover Rogue throughout, so I just put Ash as a basic hand trap to cover Rogue. It did alright. It did okay. I might want to bump it up to 3, to be honest, just because it's a good hand trap to have in your hand after combo win as well. Stop the shoot. Let's say you played all the negates and like Fusion Destiny, like Ash is insane. So 2 Ash, would want to bump it up. And then that's the monsters. And then I played 3 Emergence, 3 Desires, 3 of the Heavenly Dragon Circle, and then 3 Forbidden Droplets. The Heavenly Dragon Circle, as I said, it has its perks. Being able to combo through an Imperm or a Veiler, and 13 Protoss. But it was a brick a couple times in my hand. Like I'd have 1 starter, but like a Droplet, Imperm, Heavenly Dragon Circle, and like it's iffy. I'd consider playing 2, but I think 3 it should be correct.
Okay. Well, I guess if they don't drop the Imperm or something, then it is dead.
Yeah, it's
like
dead.
That's the entire purpose of it, like to dodge some kind of destruction or Imperm.
It's like a cross-out designated in a sense, but it gives you more resources to hand.
Yes.
Yeah. So and it has follow-up engraved of next turn.
Yes.
So it's a really strong card. I think it is better than Vessel, and I will continue playing it. But I need to find out between 2 and 3 what I prefer right now. Because as you can see, I also dropped Summit, the Reborn spell.
Yes, I didn't notice that. Yeah.
So my logic was, I played in the Cape Town Regionals about 2 weeks ago where I made top 8.
Yes. Well done.
So I made top 8 there. But in the top cut, I bricked with Summit in hand. And like it's happened a few times where I bricked with Summit in hand. So with the Heavenly Dragon Circles, it's another brick essentially. It's not really a brick because it's a name, right? But it can be a lot of the times. So I wanted to minimize the amount of bricks in my deck, and I cut it. But I do regret it 100%. Like, there's a lot of games I could have closed out if I played it. So
Is it?
yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back to it.
Yeah, I guess it's a catch-22 because it's like you really want to search it, you know, if possible, and you never want to draw it. But if you draw it, like it's just taking that one card space that could be, you know, something else. Yeah.
Exactly. And like as you said, you're playing Desires as well, so it's one of that most likely gets banished. I mean, same logic with Protoss and IO, obviously, but and you do side it out a lot going second. It's often the first thing you side out, so it's an iffy card. I definitely will go back to it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's the spells, and then the trap cards. Triple Imperm, probably the best hand trappers format.
Yep.
Plays around talents and not one's return. You can set it if you need to, obviously. And then Blackout, 2 Blackouts.
Yeah.
Some people are playing 1. I play 2 because of Desires. And if I banish 1, I have another.
Yeah.
Also, the combo with Grandmaster, where you banish the Desires, banish the Blackout instead of adding it, summon a token, and then go to level 10. Yeah. And then obviously the best card of this format, the 41st card. Obviously you can't play 40 with and not play Imperial Order, so you have to play 41. Imperial Order obviously there's nothing to say, just it wins you games.
Yeah. Cool. And then getting into your extra deck, obviously we have Dragite. I mean, that's
Dragite was actually really strong this tournament, so I was really surprised. I even summoned it against Bird Up, and it stopped it. You were playing Desires, and it stopped the Desires when the gameplay was simplified.
Nice.
So Dragite really strong. Obviously summoning against a zombie player because it's a generic one.
Yeah.
It doesn't require worms. So
Perfect.
So my level, so Dragite, the 2 Grandmasters, obviously.
Yes.
Double backs here. For the Charfang combo and just to spin back if you need to. The 1 Yazi, which came up a couple times, like I definitely wouldn't cut Yazi. It was strong. 1 Berserker, 1 Charfang, and then the level 10s were Ruddy Rose, Baron, and Grandmaster, the Duke, the Supreme Sovereign. Ruddy Rose never came up, gonna cut it, it's just there. In theory, it's good against Striker, good against Phantom Knights, good against Dragon Link. Which actually surprisingly I didn't play against any Dragon Link. But I'm gonna cut Ruddy Rose.
Okay. Cool. It seems like that spot is kind of like it's not filled for you guys yet. Like I've seen a lot of different things being played with that spot, but like no matter what you guys play, it seems like okay, deck's viable. If you know what I mean.
That's what's kind of
it's just open.
You could stay Ruddy and just
like a tech spot.
Like play Omega for the Maximus for the Sid matchup. Play a random Intus if you wanted to or something like that.
And then some guys are playing Chen early.
Chen as well, But so that's a flex spot. And then the 4 links, the triple monk and the 1 shaman.
Cool.
Some people play 2 monk, but with the amount of tennies in this bowl, like 3 monk comes up a lot. Surprisingly enough, and the tennies are kind of your grinding engine. So you do need 3 monk. I wouldn't cut down on monk at all.
Cool.
Shaman is just good for pushing. It's a really good push.
Definitely. Okay, and then side deck.
Side deck. I went for triple Lancia, triple Droll. This covers everything basically. And Bird Up, obviously the best, our biggest problem. So like just have to maximize on all on both of those. Then for back row, then 2 dark row and no more. Just more, just for Drytron, Bird Up. Basically combo deck because like we struggle sometimes to break boards without the tennies. So just as much as we can. Then double Cosmic and triple Lightning Storm as my back row removal. Cosmic, play around Scythe. Chainable, Imperial Order, not that it affects us too much. but Mystic Mine out as well, obviously.
Yes.
It had the applications. Also, we're expecting Eldritch because it's Europe, so Cosmic felt strong against Eldritch as well.
Definitely.
And then Lightning Storm, just a super good blowout card against monsters or traps and so on. Like, nothing much to say about it. It's strong.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, you could argue play it evenly, but I think the battle phase is too important this format.
Definitely. I think especially for Souls as well, because that's one of their big strengths, you know. All of this.
We have potential to
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of your synchros do something that, like, spin 2, you know, pop 1, negate, etc. And then if you throw in the attacks, it's like, you know, you can clear an entire board just with, like, 2 synchros or something.
You can beat like Berserker is insane in the battle phase.
Yeah.
So it's definitely. Yeah. So it's definitely. I don't regret playing Lightning Storm over evenly. Could be Dimensional Barrier because it comes up a lot. Swordsoul's Synchro. Obviously, that's a going first card, whereas this is a going second card. But I do have a lot of going second cards, as you can see. But yeah, that and then Anti-Spell Fragrance just was going first.
Yeah.
Sky Striker we expected a lot. What else? Sid Invoke Dogmatica. Well, now DPE without the Shadowls now, so.
Yeah.
Anti-Spell was strong. I would cut it, I'd say. It's kind of like here and there. It wasn't as strong as I thought it would be. I didn't come up against decks that played a lot of spells, as you can see with what I said.
Yeah.
But I mean, Striker besides Sky Striker, obviously. But I'd either play 3 of it or wouldn't play any. Like, I felt 2 was too little.
Okay.
So it's between that, Solemn Judgment, Dimensional Barrier. I'd probably play. I used to play Judgment. I think Judgment is a better call.
I guess so. I guess it also depends on, like, your deck. I think Souls, they don't really go after your back row as much.
Yeah.
So it's kind of safer. Judgment.
The blackout is very scary, and they know we all play Imperial Order as well. So,
yes.
A lot of times they'll play Cosmics or Twins to play around Order. But that's my side deck.
Yeah, cool.
It was the deck performed okay overall. Just
definitely, man. Like based on your result, I mean, it definitely did.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was pretty balanced. I mean, you did say you wanted to make a few changes here and there, but I think overall, it did what it needed to do. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
It did exactly what I wanted to do.
Nice.
Obviously, you made Top Gun would be meta, but first YCS, 40th place.
Not bad at all. It's not bad at all, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Any final comments? On the deck?
Final comments on the deck itself, or just in general?
Up to you. Anything you want to
obviously, shout out to TFT, Team Flex Gaming.
Yeah.
Captain Joshua here, obviously.
Yes.
Without them, I wouldn't have done what I did this year. The coaching with Tim and with you and Pranav, the testing with Rav and Dan. It's been insane.
The last couple of weeks have been quite intense with that, like testing and
we get a lot more testing on this year than I ever did in New Year. So it'll become a really good player. So shout out TFG.
Well,
Best team in South Africa.
Of course.
Looking at you, team on the list.
Over what? Sorry? It doesn't matter. No, but just looking at your performance, you obviously did very well in this one. Down in Cape Town for the regionals, you did really well. Then you made top 8 as well. Prior to that, in the OTS jams, you made top 8. You've been doing really well over the last, 4 or 5 big tournaments.
Yeah.
So,
I'd have to say it's down to the sheer amount of testing and practice we did with you with TFG, and then owning Swordsoul, which is obviously an expensive deck, but it's a good deck though. It's a really good deck. So Swordsoul can carry a lot of people to top cuts, but you do have to have some.
I think so, yeah. Because it's like, I mean, I've obviously been testing it myself as well. It's not as straightforward. You know, a lot of people think it's normal. It's Alistair, Alistair Turbo, basically. It's normal summon, and that's it. It's not at all. Not at all. If you're trying to make the deck work, to make the deck combo, it takes a lot of effort.
But yeah, so the deck, the team, and then the tournament, I recommend everyone here in South Africa to play in the remote duels. Like it's so fun. Like it's obviously it's a lot better playing in person, and it's a lot easier because you get to read cards in front of you. But highly recommended. Play remote duels if you can. And then that's me.
Cool, man. Great speaking to you as usual. Obviously going to speak to you again probably later. But well done on your win. Keep it up. Obviously, you are doing fantastically well over the last couple of tournaments. Like I said, you're dominating, and you definitely deserve the placement that you got. And you are the best player in Africa, whether you like to admit it or not. You are at this point. You're the man to beat.
Technically, just because, technically.
Dude. So hopefully you'll be taking a few more championships soon.
Try my best. Next regional season coming up soon as well.
Yes.
Those championships will be traveling from Bloem again, putting Bloem on the map.
Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah,
cool.
But thanks so much for having me, man. And hope
no problem.
do another profile again when I win the next tournament.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're gonna have a bit of a break now, but then once the new season picks up, I'm sure you're gonna be in the top 8 again, if not winning. Cool, dude. See you, Cam.
Peace, guys.
Go.
Thanks.